Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm very happy to show my work. My work started 2 years ago with my colleague Valentina Grasso. They work in weather service of Tuscany. Tuscany is the region where is located Florence. I am a researcher in health mapping, health risk mapping, malaria. I'm working on the geographical data about the health and the weather. Okay, in Italy, to find, or generally to find data to elaborate geographical maps of health risk or of wealth injuries, of wealth impact, weather impact is difficult. So 2 years ago, I want to try this way to collect tweets with some keywords, and I want to make an effort to map. Is possible to map an impact of weather events? Okay, everybody knows what is social media, what is the weather, no? What is weather-related mapping, okay? And when you talk about several weather events, we have three words come: who, when, where. Is a real web when you have a physical view of the weather. So we can do an analogy of what's happened in social media fields. And when you speak about resiliency, you speak to make an effort to be aware the peoples or prepare the people. So it's possible to use weather information and weather information streams to increase this preparation, this awareness. This is the background of our work. Climate change is another topic inside in this effort, because we have the grow up of the weather talking, the climate change talking. So we have so many flux of information in the people that can be used to perform a better preparation and awareness. So, social media. This is the question. Are useful or not are useful to use, to map and to recognize impact of the weather in this case, but not only in the weather, in any fields of knowledge regarding to human risk and health risk? This is the question. That is the question true. This is a real question. So I think in my work I have seen that when you have a stream flow or information flows, in function of its typical channel, we have when you treat the stream as an amount or as a unidimensional flows, we have a wave shape. When start an event, you can recognize a large amount of data in the channel is having the shape similar to the wave. This is a deeply analog that happens in atmospherical and in weather science. When you have hot, you have the waves of phenomena. So it's possible to link these waves in the space and the time. This is the goals. Yes, it's possible to make and to recognize the coherence between waves of stream flow and the waves of the atmosphere or the other weather process. Is possible. Why? Why? Because web and internet information, as we can see as a my first slide in presentation show the waves of the sea, the real waves of the sea, you can recognize sometimes in chaotic behaviors some coherent structures. Patrick Meyer agree about this topic. And it's possible that we have different complex structures in media world or in social media worlds and in the weather that can be coherent. Because weather and the webs and information in social media are that so-called organized complexity. This derived from theoretically from the Vanguard. These are physics. In there, it's hierarchy models of systems. So organized complexity could be listened, could be analyzed. And to overcome every complexities, in our work we make a sample detection, but locally, of the coherency using a sample statistical framework if exists the coherence between the stream of the flow, the stream of the social media and the stream and the parameters linked to the weather world. Okay? When is this is detected locally and geographically locally if there is an association, we testing this association using statistical tests. After, when we have joined, we have reached if the statistical coherence is significant, we verify with other tools if this coherence is true or is another or is false, using text mining approach and some social media analytics. And we can obtain a map because in this particular we have used this approach with heat waves. Heat waves, as we have in these 2 days in England, because it's not so hot, but it is a real heat waves now, actually, in these 2 days, because it's too much hot respect to climatologies. We have the frost waves ended in the last days, and now we have high heat days. Heat days have a severe impact, and the amount of social media response of heat waves is linked to the perception. So the people, when have very hot, can put their reaction in the social media. So it's a good case to analyze. In particular, I've tested this method in early heat waves happens in Europe in 5 April 2011. This is a strong but early heat waves. So the temperature is not so high, but for the period is very high. So the response of the people is very strong because they have not fitted to the early head on the body. This is an example of definition of what mean heat waves meteorologically, but is not important in this context. So we have crawled a flux of Twitter. We have by hashtag. We have calculated a metric. This is the number of tweets daily. This is a sample metric. And I put this value in a framework that use linear detection of coherence. This is the data used. We use modeling data available in the weather institution, normally for the forecast. So it's a common product normally used for forecast. And I have my stream Twitter, but key-tagged, so it is filtered by terms. The terms is an Italian term, caldo, affa, sete. This is the normal word used when people feel an excessive heat, okay? And I see my statement is the waves of the social media and the waves of the weather are really, really the same shape in the time. And I check that is true, these things. And when you have semantized streams, you can easily connect it with the weather variables because have the same shape. And you can identify when he's the real apex of the heat waves. Weather analysis don't have this information normally. Only social media work could have this confirmation. This is important for meteorologists because they make physical forecasts, but don't have the taste of the impact normally. And if you repeat for every grid pixels the same analysis shown in the previous slide, you can obtain where this coherence is significant. And you give a color in the map. So I can obtain a real map where people have the coherence between shape with the social media flows and the weather evolution, the parameters. And here, you are sure people have perceived a real head. And perhaps if the same people stay in the sea, in the Mediterranean Sea, probably could have the same sensation on the quay. But here, no hive data. But if I test a consistency of the coherence for my areas, I have information where don't have data, because this result is given by statistics. Needs every time confirmation, but you can infer where you not have social data, because in Mediterranean it's not possible people to tweet, perhaps in the boat, but not possible. And this result have surprised me deeply, because we have some place, where I know in this particular area for topography, really people felt more hot respect the center of Sardinia, on the east of Sardinia. So the coherence between social stream flows and weather flows is a strong tool to detect if exists an impact, if exists a link with the weather and the social media. My colleague synthesized is a weather map as X-ray, is an X-ray map to analyze if exists. But why these methods funziona, is good? Because Twitter is only a constant medium. The driving process is done by numerical weather forecast. When you have a sure parameter, you can link an ambiguous parameter or a weak parameters as the social media flows. Because social media is not the machine of truth. Have many problems to, so this is the identified patterns. Okay, social media data are very huge to be treated, because in the last years, I see my experience, the social media streams semantics is not enough to control their sanity, and because many people use social media in using words completely separated respect to reality. It's a real meta word. It's not they become poor in the last years, in the last moment, because the degree of emotivity is more and more strong. And I think it's a trend because in the next 2 years you could extract information directly from the streams. Okay, but exists tools like the text mining or the word cloud, the analysis of the hash, that in my case have confirmed the goodness of my analysis. But I think text mining is poor, and the text analysis become poor because that they say the social media become so too much dirty. The crowd massive. Patrick Meyer speak about bounded crowd mapping, bounded crowdsourcing. Perhaps is in a way, but I think really is the future are coming from trusted communities of people give a solid data, few, but we have linked this confident data with other parameters. Okay, the ranking, the terms frequency ranking are good, but the word cloud, the appearance of geographical terms in the streams is another confirmation. So my result is good for now, but it's not good for the future. The future for me is the graph analysis for the streams social, because it's more important to identify where is the path of relation in semanticized streams. I take my streams and analyze how, during the event, the path and the graph metrics change evolution. And you can infer the sanity versus the information content using the SNA analysis, the social network analysis. And you can listen the attribute of the node, but is the relationship structure is more important. This is an example making with the snow, with a snow I haven't happened in Florence in this year. This is the first graph when the social media stream start. Do you see the the media centrality only at the middle on the events of the same of the institution. So it's important to confirm every kind of analysis when you have social media streams and the weather analysis, to go into the analysis of the community and their relationship inside. Not only the attribute textual that could work, but in the horizon when you have social stream become more dirty, is huge, and is not. I don't know if maintain the utility in the future. Okay.